Ford beat General Motors in U.S. sales last month, marking the first time that's happened since 1998. Is this a signal Ford plans to be the new #1 automaker? Chief Financial Officer Louis Booth joins our own Mark Crumpton to discuss what's ahead for the company and industry. Mark.
Lori, thank you very much. And Mr. Booth, thank you so much for coming to Bloomberg. We appreciate it. Lori just posed the question, is Ford now poised to be #1?
No, I don't think so. That's not one of the metrics we're worrying about. We're worrying about maintaining our own course, rebuilding our business, and going for profitability.
Talk to me about your balance sheet. Is that restructuring now behind you?
No, we have a lot of debt still on our balance sheet. We did a lot of restructuring last year. We know we have more work to do, but the way we're going to improve our balance sheet is by returning to profitability, returning to positive operating cash flow, and pay down our debt.
Is that directly linked to you becoming investment grade, in your opinion?
It's part of the route to become investment grade, yes.
Talk to me about the business metrics then ahead of what the ratings agencies might say.
Well, I think we have to see sustained profitability, sustained positive cash flow.
How difficult is that in this economic environment?
Well, it really depends on the recovery itself. I mean, last year was a very, very difficult year around the world. We're seeing strong recovery in Asia, seeing some recovery in Europe, and we're seeing some recovery in the U.S. market, but it's fragile.
Might I ask then, if we're talking about a recovery and a sustained recovery, are you seeing something that perhaps the rest of the automakers are not through the end of this year? How would you characterize Ford's assessment between now and, say, the end of this calendar year?
I think our forecast for the outlook for this year is very similar to industry and outside observers. Just some steady improvement. So
you would say that investors are confident in Ford?
Investors are confident in our plan and how we're implementing it.
What about the auto industry as a whole?
It's improving from a very difficult year.
Could I ask you, was the question of overcapacity, and that was something that plagued the automakers in the early part of the last decade. How do you avoid falling into that trap again?
Well, we have said we will manage our capacity to match the prevailing demand. I think the risk is always if you manage capacity thinking demand is going to be at a level that it isn't.
Let's talk about Ford's dividend. How difficult was it to delay that?
Well, we've delayed the dividend. It was a difficult decision, but it was important to help us preserve cash last year.
As Chief Financial Officer, then, is your primary function, in your opinion, to maintain positive cash flow?
To work with the operations to make sure we maintain positive cash flow and continue to invest strongly in new products and growth around the world.
The situation with Toyota, it's been talked about for the last several months. Is that a problem for Ford in terms of competitive pricing?
We're seeing Toyota take some very aggressive merchandising actions this month. We continue to actually have a good month this month, so we'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Mr. Booth, how does Ford maintain market share in China? What are some of the hurdles that you face there?
Biggest hurdle in China at the moment is the very fast expanding market. Means that we are putting our facilities under great pressure to produce additional units, so we don't lose share, that we follow the market growth.
You know, some of the conversation on Capitol Hill in the last few weeks has been about financial regulatory reform. Secretary Geithner, among others, talking on the Hill. Right now, a lot of people sense that one of the problems is that the credit markets still have not thawed. How has that impacted Ford, and how might that impact Ford customers?
Well, we are seeing the credit markets improve, and it's an important part of financing Ford credit. For our customers going to Ford, Lincoln Mercury dealers in the United States, we are financing them through Ford credit and doing very well.
Mr. Booth, in our last 30 seconds, talk to me about Ford's relationship with the state of Michigan. It's been hammered in this recent recession. How does Ford help its neighbor, its community neighbor?
Well, by continuing to improve our business and be a strong, positive business based in Michigan. I'm proud to be there.
Louis Booth, Executive Vice President and CFO at Ford Motor Company, joining us here on set. Mr. Booth, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Lori.